Tucked away in the heart of Ireland in the sleepy rural village of Cloughjordan, you'll find an eco-village which hosts an annual gathering of farmers and environmentalists to discuss the future of sustainable agriculture. Euractiv went along to find out more.
Yeah, so Feeding Ourselves came out of the fact that we set up a community-supported agriculture initiative here in Cloughjordan 12, 13 years ago, and we wanted to sort of maybe introduce people to the idea of communities having a say in the farming and food that happens in their community, in their locale. So we organised the gathering. We were surprised at how popular it was, and we kept it going ever since. We attract these kind of people together to come to plan, to talk about best practice, to talk about inspiring examples, and to try and work together to sort of make a more agroecological sort of future.
A number of farmers came along to the event to share their view from the ground. Euractiv spoke to a range of them to learn about their experiences and what the most pressing issues are for them at the moment.
Currently, the situation is that 13% of farms in Ireland are owned by women, whereas women will make up 27% of the workforce. So there's an obvious imbalance there. And even amongst farms that are co-owned, where there's a man and a woman, identified as the owners, that's only 4% of farms. So unfortunately, what you are dealing with is a base of a very patriarchal structure where it's inequitable. There are some positives in recent years. The current cap, we have. It was acknowledged, the need to address the inequality. So there's a 60% grant aid for female farmers as opposed to 40% for male farmers. So that's a certain positive. And there's female-only knowledge transfer groups. So giving a space for women to discuss important issues that affect them. So there is movement, and there's a lot of opportunity for further change, which is why this organisation to me is very important.
I knew that I was going to see a drop in my single farm payment with your changes in policy and trying to get equalisation of payments to farmers. So I decided I needed to find new revenues. So, and then taking the fact that I had attended university and did a Master's in Biodiversity and Conservation, I thought I might use that to open my farm and use the beautiful habitats on my farm to engage the students. Also, we do some diversified into do some social farming and some ecotourism on the farm.
There really needs to be public support at a public procurement level for organic products. There's only so much that can be driven by consumer demand, and there's only so much that the farmers can do to educate consumers, and all of these things that we try to do. Supermarkets still exist and people are still going to go to them, but really the heavy hitters of big institutions, there needs to be policy there to ensure that organic food is valued, that we're willing to pay what it costs for farmers to produce that food, and that a percentage of the food needs to be organic within those spheres. Now the focus is so much driven by the EU on the percentage of land that has to be under organic production, and that is the only focus within Ireland, is getting people to produce organically with the direct payment supports, but not necessarily ensuring that there's a market there for products and that there's connection between producers or anything of that nature.
We're a small farm and we grow a mixture of different grains, but also a mixture of heritage grains that we malt and brew into beer. Small batch beer based around creativity. When we are the maltsters and the brewer, we are making choices about quality, about flavour and about stories and connection. So therefore, and connection with local areas. I say that our beer has terroir or counter in Irish. They're from the surroundings. So therefore it's really important that they have that and there's that connection with it. So it is possible to use heritage grains when we process it all ourselves, because technically it'd be illegal for me to send the grain outside of the farm to be malted. Like, it is a huge undertaking. I have 3 professions. Most people have 1, maybe 2, so that's one of the big challenges.